everyone, welcome to another Facebook Live. This is Maria Mejia.
And I'm David Pataki, so glad to be here today.
And if you noticed, we are the same height today.
Yes!
Why is that, David?
Well, I got my legs cut off.
Okay, yeah. He's sitting, I'm standing, you know. You always got to make
Oh,
a stand.
that's right. I'm actually sitting right now, yeah. So it's kind of exciting. We're actually on location because we're shooting some video clips for some of our upcoming promotional stuff. So it's all good.
It's fun. Anyways, the reason you're here today is so we can tell you more about one of the 7 common tax mistakes that people make.
Yeah, costly mistakes.
Costly, they're common and costly.
Because one of the things that you want to do is taxes and death. We know that's a for sure thing, right?
Yeah.
But what we want to do is, we can't really avoid the whole death thing at some point. It's going to happen. But the taxes, that's something that we do pay and we should pay. We all do owe a certain amount because governments run off the tax money and so on. But what we want to do is
miss those mistakes. Sorry.
We want to minimize the taxes. What I was going for there, we haven't quite synced up. Yes,
yeah.
Minimize the amount of tax that you pay. So, Maria, what is we're on our second tax mistake that could be costly. Can you bring us up to date on that? Having
an unreported side hustle. So this year is probably going to be a very major one for most people due to the virus and everything. Lots of places shutting down, employments, schools, and things like that. Many people have started to have side hustles or side jobs, or fully jumped into the self-employment pool. So we're going to talk a little bit about that today.
Okay, well, maybe before we get started on the whole explanation, for some people, what is a side hustle?
So a side hustle is anything that you're doing, that it can either be creating something or doing a little service, and you're being paid for it. You're generating some sort of revenue from it. So the CRA, so we might call it a side hustle, but the CRA calls it running a business. So if you do anything, make a product or give a service, and you are expecting to make some kind of profit, the CRA counts that as a business and says you need to report that. So don't miss that.
Right, but selling something on Kijiji, that's not a side hustle.
Yeah, like if you're just selling, you're done with that table because you bought a new kitchen table and you're just selling on Kijiji for either what you bought it for or even less because it's 10 years old, it's not really worth that much. That is not a side hustle. That's not running a business.
However, if I was making a side table and selling them on Kijiji,
that's a side hustle. That's a business in the CRA's eyes. CRA wants their cut. So, kind of going along with that, if you bill people or you send an invoice to people and you're just using your own name, you don't need to register. You don't need to do anything besides fill the self-employment tax form, the T2125 on your personal tax return. That's all you have to do is fill it out. Say, here's how much I made. Here's, the cost of the supplies. Here's the office supplies that I got. Here's the sanitary stuff that I had to get due to COVID to be able to give it to the clients that I, did service to. That's all the expenses, including, your house, your home office, as we say. If you had a specific room in your house, that percentage of electricity, any other utilities such as your Wi-Fi, your phone bill, that would all be reported on that form. And like I said, if you're just billing in your name, there's nothing else you need to do.
Now, is it question as we're talking about? Is it possible if you were actually to lose money on your side hustle, could that take some deductions off your regular income?
Yeah. So if you were working, but then you had to do a side hustle because you were hoping to make some money at the end, but in reality you lost money, you can still claim that because as a loss because you were planning on making a profit of some sort, but it just so happened that you lost more money. And that could be common, especially if you include all of your house expenses or any vehicle expenses that you want to claim. Or kind of a lesser known, if you have either a child or another family member working for you and you paid them a little bit, you can claim that as well, and that could help you have a loss at the end of the year.
Right. Just to clarify, though, like when you are claiming expenses from the house and so on, it is a percentage of the house that you take up to run the business.
Yeah.
You can't take the entire utilities and phone bill and all that. You have to take a percentage, correct?
Yeah, percentage. So if you do not have like your own house, you do all of your work in your kitchen or your living room, then you have to do like how long did you run the business throughout the day, and it's like a lot more calculations. So I encourage you to try and set apart just one room, because it's much easier to calculate 100% of one room than say 50% of the kitchen, which is only like a third of your house or something.
Right.
Yeah.
A lot of math going on there. But for example, like if you had an office that was dedicated to your business and that percentage was, let's say, 17% of the house, for example, then you could write off 17% of everything.
Yep. Of all the utilities, like the electricity, the hydro, the Wi-Fi, all of that.
All right. Well, that's really good to know. I mean, that's something I think a lot of people may or may not be aware of, that it needs to be the appropriate percentage of the house, not half. But if you're doing like the woodworking side table thing and you're doing the garage, and 90% of the time you're using the garage, that's a much bigger space and also a bigger portion of hydro and so on.
Yeah. So, David,
Maria?
do you know what the level is what amount of revenue you hit when you need to start to register for a GST, HST account?
100% I do.
What is it?
$30,000.
30%.
30%. No.
That's what he's going to say.
30,000. I think I was, but yeah, $30,000.
So if you made $30,000, if you sold items or you gave a service and the total income was $30,000, you have to register for
Not profit.
Not profit,
We're
not
talking-
bottom line. We're
no.
talking about the top, everything
Yes.
that came in. Once you've hit that amount, you have to register with the CRA. I've had a few clients where they didn't know they were going to hit that amount, and then when I filed their taxes, they did. The CRA might take a little longer to register and to process your refund if you're not already registered, and put on there your registration number.
Good to know. Good to know. Yep, 30,000. But also, if you do I understand it correctly though? If you do register for an HST, even though you aren't doing revenue of over 30,000, you still are supposed to do a report or a file
You
report.
still have to file reporting how much income you made, as well as especially if you collected GST. If you collected GST, you have to give that to the government.
It's not your money.
They claim it as their own.
Money. They claim it.
They claim
they say 100% is their money.
It's 100% theirs. But you can offset that by anything that you purchase. So when you buy, your new staplers or stationery,
or lumber for that side table.
Yes, and you pay GST for those things, you can claim that GST. Be like, okay, so I sold $100 and I have GST of 13%, but I purchased that lumber that has GST, so those two can offset each other.
Yeah, well, it's not going to be 100% because you're selling it, that GST is going to be a little bit higher than what you bought it, but obviously instead of paying $100 of HST, GST, whatever, maybe you're paying $20 or $30.
Yeah.
For example.
All
right. Well, is there anything else you want to add to side hustle?
So
you should.
Yes.
No, it's actually, I guess, if I could take this correctly though. So it is advantageous to have a side hustle regardless, because if you happen to lose money or not make money, then that can actually help reduce your tax payment on the personal side.
Yeah. So if you are, a crafty person, a seamstress, and you have, your craft room that you leave everything in, because your family thinks you're insane, you have a whole room dedicated to it, you can claim those house expenses for that craft room, especially if you make like little gifts and things like that, or if you make them for your neighborhood people and you just post it on Facebook Marketplace. That could be considered a side hustle, and you can claim any of those expenses.
Right, and even if you are making less than $30,000 or in revenue, it could be a good tax strategy to have an HST number, because again, you get to deduct all your expenses with the HST on there. So, like if you aren't claiming the HST, you may end up buying $20,000 worth of product or whatever it is. You're paying You're going to pay the whole HST on that. But then if you're selling it, then you can actually take back the money, that percentage.
HST, yep.
I know I'm not saying it very eloquently here, but hopefully everyone out there gets it.
And if you want more explanation or more detail, get in contact with me or whoever.
No, don't contact
sure
you contact Maria
or any other tax professional or accountant, and they would be for sure happy to let you know all that fun stuff. For sure, contact me.
Sorry, I'm talking all over you here, Maria. I'm just so excited because you are so knowledgeable in all of this, and I'm glad that I'm working with you. And if you have any questions, any other questions that we don't cover for the taxes, please, submit them, comment, email us, Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, LinkedIn, everything down the pipeline.
I'm pretty sure you said all of this.
Did I say it all?
Yeah.
It's probably a simpler way of saying that. But anyways, please like, share, and comment. We enjoy doing this, but if there's something you want us to talk about, please send it our way.
Yep, and we will cover it in our next Facebook Live. So everyone else, have a great day.
Until next time.
See ya.